Hi guys, just a quick look at the bunker work that we did during your recent visit, and just to outline a few of the key points that were discussed during this part of the session. Both of you had difficulty with the core skill of bunker play, which is striking the sand in the correct spot. We had a line drawn in the sand maybe 2 inches behind the golf ball, and explain to you that your ability to hit that line, despite what mechanics you choose to use, if you can hit that line consistently, you will get yourself out of the bunker pretty much every time, providing that you've got sufficient loft in your hand to clear the lip and you keep your speeds up. Remember, we talked about how speed directly affects the height of the shot. So even though you may have a very lofty club in your hand, if you don't inject enough speed into the shot, then you won't get enough lift on the golf ball. So you can see there that you both clearly hit the ground, or hit the sand, enter the sand too far back, and that's making it difficult to get the ball out of the bunker consistently. So despite what, or irrespective of what changes we make, and in the future, whatever changes are suggested by myself or any other coaches, they must improve your ability to enter the sand in the correct spot. When we took a look at your swings, Cat, with yourself, you can see clearly that your head dropped down very quick. You sort of dip down very quickly, you lose your levels, you flex your knees, you flex your spine, you flex your neck, and that lowers the base of the swing and makes striking the ground in the correct spot much more difficult. Once you saw that and you understood the reasons for doing that, and also understood that you didn't need to do that by setting up properly, we talked about having the stance width similar to if you're hitting an 8-iron, having the ball as a benchmark towards the badge on your shirt, just forward of centre, lowering your feet in the sand. This all made it pretty easy for you to hit the ground behind the ball. So with that in place, there's no need to then dip down too fast as you were doing there. Once you saw that, you were off and running, your bunker play improved dramatically, and I think, you know, within 5 or 10 minutes you were pretty happy that you could get the ball out most of the time, and you then started to experiment with opening the club face, different lies, etc. And that's ideal. I mean, that's an ideal scenario. That's what we want you to have the ability to do. You know, the harder the lie, the harder it is going to be to get out of the bunker shot, or out of the bunker. But what we're looking at here was just generating a basic bunker shot. So once you saw your head drop, you were fine and you were off and running. With yourself, CC, the thing that we saw again was the head drop down and back, very similar to what we were seeing with your iron shots at the start of the weekend. Right shoulder dropping too quickly, and we link that to what the right knee was doing. You can see there's a lot of flex going in the right knee as you come through. Whenever the right knee flexes too much, as we can see here down the line, continues to flex towards the golf ball and inwards. Whenever the right knee overflexes, the hips spin and fall back a little bit. The right shoulder drops down too low too soon, and that's going to move the low point back. So the change that we suggested was, when you're in a bunker, until you're consistently hitting the line as you would like, we want to put the prop in there. So we're going to straighten that right leg up at setup as per this footage on the bottom right, and we're going to try and keep that right leg as straight as we can throughout the shot. We also mentioned that this is a nice practice drill to use with your irons to prevent the right shoulder dropping too fast and prevent the hips dropping back. So here we've got right leg nice and straight. We're going to keep it straight throughout the swing. Strange feeling when you first start to do it, but the more you get used to it, the more familiar you are with it, the easier it is to commit to. And when you did this properly, provided you didn't try and scoop the ball out the bunker, you trusted the loft that was on the club face. We talked about looking at more of using a lob wedge more when you're in the bunker to give you that confidence that you're going to have sufficient loft to get the ball over the lip that's in front of you. Your ability to hit the line is improved. Your right shoulder doesn't drop as low, as quick. And you're able to get yourself out of the bunker pretty much every time. So you're just quietening down the leg action, improving your ability to hit the ground or hit the sand a couple of inches behind the golf ball. We then discussed about alignment and club face angle and how you can use the loft of the club, either opening the club face or using a more lofted wedge or even a less lofted wedge on occasion, depending on the scenario, to give you the sort of trajectory that you want. And one of the questions that arose from that was, if you open the club face, as per I'm demonstrating here on the top right, do you then need to open the stance? And my opinion is that you don't. You might want to do a little bit. I'm not saying for one moment that no one represents that. However, as you can see here, because I am not hitting the golf ball, the angle of the club face has very little effect on the starting direction of this shot. The club face is pointing where the green arrow is pointing. I had this open maybe 45 degrees, so it's pointing way over to the right. So we've got loads of loft on the club face. The leading edge of the club is pointing way to the right. Because of things like handle location, when I'm playing a bunker shot, my handle is down and back. That just because the grooves are pointing to the right doesn't necessarily mean that the loft is pointing to the right. We touched on that a little bit during your long game section when we were talking about handle location and where to aim the club face, etc. But anyway, in the grand scheme of things, I've got my club face pointing way to the right. I've got my swing, if you will, pointing straight at the big flag, which are the red arrows, and I'm going to make an inline swing. So I'm just going to, in this instance, I'm going to make a swing in the direction of my target. You can see that the sand comes out in the direction of the swing, so that's coming out in the red arrow. The green arrow, which is where the club face was pointing, is having very little relevance on the ball as it comes out of the bunker. You can see that as the ball comes out of the bunker, it's coming much more down the direction of the swing than it is my original club face position at setup. That particular bunker shot missed the hole by a matter of inches to the right. I then demonstrated a bunker shot where I opened the club face, opened the stance, and what we saw was that shot, you see the ball just coming down there, the shot where I opened the stance missed about 8 feet to the left. So do you need to open your stance? No. Is it okay to open your stance a little bit? I would say yes, but just be aware that you don't need to open the stance up when you're in a bunker anywhere near as much as you've been advised in the past. It just makes the whole process far too complicated. Initially, I would concentrate on getting out of the bunker every time. If you needed more loft, I would use your lob wedge. The main thing is to get a solid strike into the sand, keep your speeds up, get the ball out of the bunker every time, then start to play around and experiment with opening the club face, moving the ball around, etc., to give you the shots that you want.